Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have this man back. It's Dr. Peter McCullough. It's MD, MPH, FACC, FAHA, FASN, FNKF, FNLA, FCRSA, cardiologist, epidemiologist. That's probably why, Doc, you got kicked off of Twitter. Too many things after your name. Could that be it?
I tell you, the Twitter incident needs some context. I previously had a Twitter account called COVID-19 Treatments. It was a scientific account.
Right.
That was through 2020, 2021. It was ultimately permanently suspended, and I became a plaintiff in a multi-plaintiff lawsuit against Twitter for the basically illegal censorship that Twitter was doing with our accounts. Twitter's a common carrier. They don't have any role in deleting accounts. At most, they could follow the Federal Communications Commission, guidance on pornography, which they don't even do.
They don't do that.
So Twitter prevailed, though. They said, and the courts agreed, that Twitter has the right to publicly participate in the COVID conversation by manipulating our accounts. They prevailed on what's called SLAPP legislation. This was astonishing. And then about a week ago, when the news that Elon Musk was going to, buy Twitter, that was back on. Lots of people had instability in their accounts. The big user accounts had followers added and subtracted, and then on Thursday night, October 6th, I had a total of 500. Actually, it's interesting you captured that. That was on the way down. I had 512,000 followers.
Oh wow!
Thursday night, Joe. Twitter drained the account to zero. I have a screen capture of 0 followers.
Wow.
They drained me to 0. Then they suspended me. I was trying to back up my data. They wouldn't let me back it up. My tech and legal teams got involved. Now Twitter is backpedaling. So what's going on? And if Elon Musk is potentially playing a role, if Twitter's trying to do things before Musk, I've asked Musk to come out. I'm happy to talk to him.
Yeah.
I eclipsed him on the Joe Rogan Experience with the most views and downloads and conversation. I'd be happy to, as a public figure, your person to person, talk to him about this form of medical censorship. Right after me, Twitter went after Surgeon General Joe Ladapo from Florida.
Exactly right.
Yeah, Joe had published on Twitter findings: 83% excess mortality, young people age 18 to 39 who are taking the vaccines. Joe's a Harvard-trained physician. I've trained at the best institutions as well. I have degrees from Baylor, UT Southwestern, University of Washington, the University of Michigan, Southern Methodist University. We're some of the best trained people in the whole United States getting censored. Joe came out on Fox News. He was on Tucker Carlson. Twitter promptly restored his tweet and restored his account. Now I'm dealing with Twitter.
Right. I want to stop you there because there's a whole lot of information we've thrown out. Just to show you my response to the fact that you were suspended, I actually went after Elon Musk. I said, can this stop when you take over? Dr. Peter McCullough has no reason to tell anything but the truth when it comes to healthcare. This is digital fascism. And then I put a hashtag your name. I mean, obviously, you were only putting out peer-reviewed stuff that information that was above reproach. So the basic question happens to be, Dr. McCullough, why exactly do they not want you to be heard? Whose pocket are they in? Is it Fauci calling it? Is it Walensky at the CDC calling it? Who's making this decision that's making Twitter stop you from informing my family and me, which is what we need?
I had thousands of peer-reviewed abstracts and manuscripts, graphical format videos presenting scientific data, feedback, discussion, discourse. And what we go through now, separate legal action through American First Legal, Twitter and Facebook were meeting with the CDC. They still may be meeting with the CDC to craft this false agenda, this false narrative. That's what's going on here.
But the CDC, Doc, the CDC has been forced to reverse itself several times on several things they've said. And again, you've got peer-reviewed information. Listen, we know that what the doctor said in Florida, the Surgeon General of Florida had to say, is true. They did an actual study. 18 to 38-year-old men, males predominantly, are seeing an 84% increase in cardiac-related death within 28 days of taking the vaccine. Why can't we inform people of that? That's sick.
It's critical, and it's cohesive with everything we know. There's over 200 papers now on COVID-19 vaccine-induced myocarditis. All the vaccines cause myocarditis. All of them do. And now Petone and colleagues in Circulation, our best cardiology journal, they've reported on 100 documented fatal cases in the UK. That's just what we know about. This is astonishing that the vaccines are still on the market. And what I've said now, Joe, is it's I think this is clear. When people are dying now of unknown cause, with no antecedent fatal illnesses and no obvious explanation, they're dying in regular life on the athletic playing field or in their sleep. It is the COVID-19 vaccine until proven otherwise. Now, if the family comes out and says, hey, they didn't take a vaccine, we'll take it off the table.
Right.
But I'm telling you, as a cardiologist and an expert in adjudicating death in studies and in large clinical programs, it's the vaccine until proven otherwise. If there's an autopsy or a clinical evaluation that says there's obviously something else, okay. But right now, since the majority of Americans took the vaccine, it's the smoking gun.
Dr. Peter McCullough, go and follow his podcast. It's AmericaOutloud.com, and then look for Dr. Peter McCullough's show. It's very, very important that we get the true information out there. And Doctor, I've talked to several doctors, and many that you know, Dr. Urso, Dr. Malone will be on again tomorrow, Dr. Jesse Lopez out in Kansas. And to a doctor, they've all said the problem is that when you get injected with a spike protein, you have an autoimmune problem because your body thinks you have COVID, and the spike protein never goes away. So your body is overactively fighting it constantly, and that ends up in death, either severe injury or death in a lot of people. Do you agree with that, that it's the fact that your body is continuing to fight something that you probably don't even have?
It's true. You know, just to clarify, there's the direct injection of the spike protein with the Novavax vaccine, which is recently on the market.
Right.
But with Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, it's actually the injection of the genetic code.
Okay.
And then the human cells produce the spike protein for an uncontrolled duration and quantity, and also an uncontrolled location. This happens in the brain, the heart, in delicate organs like the reproductive organs.
Yes.
That's the reason why this is so deadly. And you're right, the immune system is on overdrive trying to fight off the spike protein. We have data from Bruce Patterson at IncelDX. It looks like the spike protein just doesn't get out of the body. The genetic material is in the body as long as it's been looked for. Stanford, Rolkin and colleagues has found it months afterwards in the body. It doesn't look like it's digesting out of the body.
And by the way, the so-called medical experts that don't like you because you're telling the truth have said, it doesn't affect mother's milk. Yes, it does. It doesn't affect fertility. Yes, it does. It isn't causing, spontaneous abortion. Yes, it is. So at the end of the day, we're finding out that everything you've been telling me and my audience and others, much bigger audiences like Joe Rogan, has been proven to be true. So why don't they just do an about face and say, hey, listen, we didn't have enough studies. Now that we've got the studies, we've got to correct all this information. On this show today, Doctor, during a commercial break on a radio station that I can't hear, they might be promoting, go and get your fourth or fifth booster.
At this point in time, it's reprehensible. The bivalent boosters were only tested on a small number of animals in preclinical models, in these animal models, and in fact, they failed. The Omicron was not stopped by the bivalent booster. There was a false surrogate antibody rise, and in an unprecedented fashion, the FDA approved these for EUA use with no human data. We have no idea of what they do in the human body. And sadly, one of the first Canadians to receive the bivalent booster in Saskatoon, she took the shot and she was texting her daughter. She died right there in the pharmacy.
Wow.
So this is going to continue. You're right. Everything single thing you said is supportable. Fertility, male fertility dropped in 2 studies, one from China, one from Israel. Gatt and colleagues, reductions in sperm motility and in quantity, probably taking some men into the infertile range, at least temporarily. Female fertility, we don't yet know, but the paper you quoted by Hannah and colleagues, disturbing that the messenger RNA gets in the breast milk to the baby. Americans were given assurances that this was safe and reasonable in pregnancy. No, it isn't. It was never tested in pregnancy. We never used new drugs or pharmaceuticals, and we would never, ever consider a new genetic product for the first time to be injected in pregnant women. The FDA, the CDC, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, they're off the rails on this. This is so far away from good general practice at this point in time. Again, the adjectives are reprehensible. Immediately remove these from the market. we need to seek justice for malfeasance.
Oh, we know that a long time ago, the Nordic countries stopped giving the Moderna shot to any male 30 and younger because of the higher instance of myocarditis. We also know that we've been told by the government from day one, and by the way, it's a cardiologist, epidemiologist, Dr. Peter McCullough. Go and make sure that you check out his program. It's amazing, AmericaOutloud.com, and look up his program, Dr. Peter McCullough. We know that we were told from the beginning, from the CDC, from the NIH, from Fauci, from the White House under Biden, that the shot will absolutely stop you from getting it and stop you from spreading it. And today, you probably have seen this, Doc, and I want to show it on the screen. We have this story from The Blaze. Pfizer executive admits COVID-19 vaccine was never tested to prevent transmission. This is scandalous. So why did they say that? Did the White House make it up? Did the CDC make it up? I mean, what is your opinion on this? Why would they say you can't get it and you can't spread it when you could the entire time? In fact, they never even tested it and studied it to see if it could stop it from being spread. We know you can still get it and spread it. So why in your heart of hearts do you think they said that?
It was a false narrative. It's pretty clear it was an intentional misleading of Americans and the world. Now the executives come out. Remember, Deborah Birx came out, former White House task force member. She said we knew these vaccines weren't going to work.
Yeah.
She said this. Now we have a Pfizer executive before the European Parliament, stunning admission that she knew the vaccines had never been tested to reduce transmission. So here we go. There have been false claims. The first one is the vaccine stopped the infection. No, there were thousands of breakthrough cases. The CDC kept tracking hospitalizations and deaths in fully vaccinated Americans because there were too many of them. Then the second false claim was that they stopped transmission. Now the Pfizer executive says that's not the case. Our CDC director came out in mid-2021. They don't stop transmission. That should have caused all the mandates to be dropped immediately because it wouldn't make the workplace any safer, wouldn't make the military any safer, schools, etc. Don't stop transmission. The third false claim is they make COVID milder. I still have people saying this. There's not a single randomized trial with hospitalizations and deaths as a primary endpoint, even a secondary endpoint, that shows the vaccines make it milder or reduce these endpoints. The FDA never granted that claim, and there's no valid retrospective study that shows this. So there's been 3 false claims of the vaccine program. I think there's going to be another fourth one saying that it stops COVID from coming back into populations. And again, that can't be the case because it doesn't stop COVID-19.
Is there anybody, Doc, and it's Dr. Peter McCullough, epidemiologist, cardiologist, expert on these things. He's giving only peer-reviewed information. He's not making anything up. Is there any scenario that you can think that taking that shot, the mRNA shot, would be helpful to a human being, or should it not be taken by anybody for any reason?
No, I agree with the World Council for Health. You know, they issued a pharmacovigilance report June 11th, 2022. You know the conclusion after looking at all the safety databases worldwide. It's a very comprehensive report. Pull them off the market. Not safe for human use. Even in the most elderly and frail people, it's a disaster. Recent paper by Mortz and colleagues showed a 76-year-old man with Parkinson's disease. He's frail. He takes 2 or 3 shots, then takes that final booster and develops fatal necrotizing encephalitis and myocarditis. It basically did him in. Joe, these aren't safe for anybody.
And again, it's your opinion that with Birx lying, and by the way, I think she lied to Trump as well. She literally said, I said what I thought I needed to say, whether it was true or not, just to promote people going and getting this. And at the same time, there was this collusion about ivermectin is no good, it's a horse paste, or you can't say hydroxychloroquine or it should be banned from Twitter, when we know that those 2 medicines worked. I mean, I think hydroxychloroquine works very, very well in Nigeria because they've got malaria issues there, and there's a lower happenstance of COVID-19, oddly, in Nigeria. India proved that ivermectin works. So why collude? Was this about making money for... See, I've got a couple of theories, and I really wonder, Doc, if you agree with either one of these. Either it was about power and control, can we make the masses do what we say? And I also think that it was about making a ton of money for the pharmaceutical companies where royalties are being kicked back to people like Fauci. What do you think?
You know, in our book, Courage to Face COVID-19, Preventing Hospitalizations and Deaths While Battling the Biopharmaceutical Complex, true crime author John Leake, the primary author, indicates that this was a plan. This was a plan to suppress early treatment, to promote fear, suffering, hospitalization, death, actually intentionally to cause harm, to prepare the world to accept mass vaccination. This is living out the dreams of philanthropist Bill Gates, The biopharmaceutical complex includes the World Economic Forum, Gates Foundation, the Wellcome Trust, Gavi, CEPI, the Center for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation formed by Gates and the WEF, the World Health Organization, which attempted to get power and control over the entire world for health emergencies, Unitaid, EcoHealth Alliance, the U.S., CDC, NIH, FDA, all the regulatory agencies. The suppliers are the pharmaceutical manufacturers. But I think these other agencies in the complex are driving the ship here. They figured out a way by declaring worldwide and national emergencies to drain treasuries dry. With the COVID-19 pandemic response, 10% of GDP was basically consumed in this.
Wow.
It sent us into an inflationary spiral. And there's no accounting, no government oversight, there's no voting on this. Do you know the bivalent vaccines which failed in animals, they were already pre-purchased before there was any studies. Monkeypox, all the supplies there were all pre-purchased. The monkeypox vaccines have not stopped a single case. In fact, now there's cases of monkeypox being reported in fully vaccinated individuals.
The monkeypox thing, in my opinion, again, I'm a political commentator, is that they wanted to have the mail-in ballots again for this coming November. It didn't stick. It didn't work, and I thank God for that, because voices like yours have been loud and very direct. Have you heard back from Elon Musk? Have you heard back from Twitter? Will you get your page back that was informing so much of us so well?
I checked with my tech team. I guess negotiations are still ongoing with Twitter. I'm happy to talk to Musk. I think he ought to come forward and start to deal with some public figures on the pandemic response. Right. I've published as much as anyone out there. I've analyzed as much or any more data than anyone out there. I'm seeing patients. I'm handling them in my office. I'm not just a consultant or a commentator. I've testified the most in the U.S. Senate and state senates. Other doctors in my circle have likewise done the same. The vast majority of doctors are saying nothing about COVID. Do you know I've never had an email or phone contact from another chairman of medicine or a chief of cardiology and infectious disease? None of them. I assume they agree with me because no one's expressed disagreement. Yeah. The only criticism I've received is from uncredentialed, anonymous fact checkers on the internet. Right. We don't even know who these people are. The people making comments on my Wikipedia page, I don't even know who they are, Joe.
It's amazing. It's Dr. Peter McCullough, AmericaOutloud.com/the-McCullough-report. Go and follow him right now. Get the book that he mentioned earlier. We'll put that up as well. Doc, come back often. Let us know what's happening with this. I tweeted to Elon Musk before, and he has answered, so maybe I'll try to tweet to him as well to find out the status of your account. You should be able to say what you've learned through your medical history. I mean, you've got more letters after your name than anybody else I know. That's obvious that you've got the education and the knowledge that's needed for us to learn. And I'm really sorry this happened to you. We'll keep you updated on that. Keep us updated on this side, okay?
Thanks a lot, Joe.